Hello everyone, I am Ria Malani and today I am going to be giving my presentation on the topic Super Resolution Imaging. So these are the key points I'll be covering in my presentation. First of all, what is super resolution imaging? Then why do we need super resolution imaging? How is it done? Super resolution using a single image and what better alternatives do we have? So let's start by understanding what is super resolution imaging. So, super resolution is the process by which a set of low resolution images are processed together to create an image with a high spatial resolution. High resolution images offer a high pixel density and thereby more details about the original scene. Generally, we can recover extra data from low resolution images, which allows us to reconstruct an output image above the Nyquist limit of the original imaging device, say a camera. Now, here we can see three input low resolution images, and the third line in all of these images are not visible. Now, we have constructed a high resolution image using super resolution procedure, and as we can see, the third line in this image is now visible. So one interesting thing to note here is that the super resolved output image can capture more of the original scene's details than any one of the input images was able to record. So this is something interesting. Now why do we even need super resolution imaging? So high resolution images are required in computer vision applications for better performance in pattern recognition and image analysis. High resolution is also used in medical imaging for diagnosis, and also many applications require zooming of a specific area of interest in the image, wherein high resolution becomes essential. Some of the examples of such cases are surveillance, forensic, and satellite imaging applications. However, high resolution images are not always available. This is since the setup for high resolution imaging proves expensive, and sometimes it is also not feasible due to the inherent limitations of the devices that we have right now. Now, these problems can be overcome by the use of image processing algorithms, which are relatively inexpensive, and which is why we use super resolution imaging. Now, how do we do this? So, our goal is to reconstruct the original scene image with high resolution given a set of images at lower resolution. So, first of all, we need some lower resolution images. So, we take low resolution images using a device. Then, what we do is image registration. So, the observed images could be taken from one or multiple cameras or could be frames of a video sequence. These images need to be mapped to a common reference frame. This process is what we call image registration. Now then we can apply super resolution procedure to the aligned composite image. So the super resolution procedure just includes forward imaging model and then reconstructing the high resolution image. Now, multiple low resolution images can represent different viewpoints of the same scene, and image registration deals with mapping corresponding points in these images to the actual points in original scene and thus transforming data into one coordinate system. Now, several types of transformations could be required for registration of images, like affine transformation. So, affine transformation preserves lines and parallelisms but not angles and distances. And one other transformation could be planar homographic transformation. Now, this alignment involves following two components. One is the geometric and the other is the photometric component. The geometric component deals with finding the best spatial fit of all the combined images, whereas the photometric component deals with estimating photometric transformations due to the change in illumination, intensity, brightness, etc. So, one of the most vital aspects in super resolution is good formulation of a model for the imaging and motion process. A forward model relates the original scene to the observed low resolution image, Now consider a high resolution image of size L1, N1 cross L2, N2. Here L1 and N2 are just the downsampling factors. So our low resolution images have the size N1 cross N2. The observed low resolution images result from warping, blurring and subsampling performed on the high resolution image. So thus we can write the forward imaging model by this equation. Here x is the high resolution input vector and yk is the low resolution image vector, and mk is the warp matrix, bk is the blur matrix, d is the subsampling matrix, nk is the noise vector. Now we have low resolution images, and then using non-linear interpolation, we map them onto the high resolution grid. Then the high resolution image is restored for blur and noise. Now this procedure can also be done in frequency domain, but it does not give good results and hence we do not use that. Now till now we have used a set of low resolution images, but we can also do this procedure using a single image. In that case, the correlation between low resolution images and corresponding high resolution images is learned from a database of known low and high resolution image pairs. This learning is then applied to a new low resolution image to obtain its most likely high resolution image. Now, this process is repeated multiple times for obtaining better results. So, do we have better alternatives? So, yes, we do. We have deep learning based models such as the convolutional neural network and the generative adversarial network, the GANs. So, what these models basically do is they take the high resolution image as the target and the low resolution images as the inputs, and then it can be solved as a supervised learning problem. So as we can see here in the image of the dog, here is an image of a dog and also a zoomed in image of a dog. So the zoomed in image of a dog is obtained by Adobe's super resolution feature, which uses one of these models. So that is all from my side. Thank you.